Alright guys, welcome back to another Horror Room movie review, and today is the start of a brand new series, and as you can see, it is the Wrong Turn series. This poster was a pain in the ass to get up, by the way. I really hope it doesn't come down while I'm making this video, but I decided I wanted to do these movies next because I had a lot of requests to do this series, and I also had a lot of requests to do Jeepers Creepers. So I plan to do these movies and then Jeepers Creepers. Jeepers Creepers is like 2 movies, I think, so I've never seen those movies either. But Wrong Turn I have watched. I think I watched the first 3. I can't really remember the third one, but I did enjoy the first 2, and when I was looking this up, I was surprised to find out there was 5 of them. I didn't even know they were still making these movies, but apparently the 5th one just came out. So yeah, Wrong Turn's been going for a while, I guess. But something else I was thinking about, Jeepers Creepers doesn't really go with the whole Wrong Turn theme. So what I want to do is I want to do Wrong Turn and Jeepers Creepers, but I was thinking what really goes with Wrong Turn is The Hills Have Eyes. And this just came to me today. It was so obvious, I have no idea why I didn't think about this earlier, but The Hills Have Eyes would be a great movie to follow this one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the Hills Have Eyes poster and put it next to this one. And then I'm going to continue doing these Jeepers Creepers and then the Hills Have Eyes. But yeah, it kind of goes with the whole inbred cannibal family. So on to Wrong Turn. God, this movie makes me feel old. I cannot believe this came out in 2003. It's been almost 10 years since this came out. It really surprised the hell out of me. But I remember watching this movie. I really liked it. Problem is, I just watched it again tonight, and it didn't really hold up all that well. And I don't know if it's because I've seen it too many times. I mean, they always play it on TV, or what it is, but it's a good movie, and if it's the first time you've ever watched it, I can see how it is pretty amazing. Well, I don't want to say amazing. It's not amazing by any means, but it's a decent movie. So if you haven't seen it, I would definitely recommend checking it out. But there's really not a lot to keep you coming back to this movie. But obviously, it was good enough to create an entire franchise of these 5 movies. So there is something to it. I enjoy the cannibal crazy family in the woods theme, so I did enjoy the movie for what it was. But watching it again, it's an hour and 24 minutes, and there's really just not a lot of gore or anything like that. It's really just about the chase, them running from the family the whole time. So anyways, on to the actual movie. Had a budget of $12 million, made back $28 million, so I guess that's not too bad. This was the only one released in theaters too. The rest are all direct to DVD. But we see a couple rock climbing in West Virginia. The man climbs to the top of the rock and something kills him. His blood starts dripping down on the woman, and then he gets thrown off the top of the rock. So something starts to pull her up, and she has to cut the line, and then she falls off the rock. So she tries to run back to the car to escape, and she trips on this barbed wire trip line, and something just pulls her back. We don't see what it is. So then it cuts to the main character, which is this guy, Chris, who is played by Desmond Harrington, also known as Detective Quinn off of Dexter. And he's driving, and we hear a report on the missing couple on the radio. And he gets stuck in traffic after a 18-wheeler wrecked and spilt some chemicals. Now, I do remember a lot from the second movie with Henry Rollins where they're shooting a reality show, and I think at the end there's like a scene where a cannibal woman is feeding a baby this bottle, and it's got like this green ooze in it from the river. And I remember that scene so much that as soon as I was watching this and they said the chemicals, I was thinking, okay, that's in this movie, that happens at the end, but no, it doesn't. So I don't know if they bring that back for the second one or they just never really did anything with it, but I was thinking maybe this movie is where they set up the chemicals, so not only are they just crazy inbred cannibals with superhuman strength, but now they're juiced up on chemicals. So he takes a back road to avoid traffic. He runs into a creepy gas station. He uses the map to find a path to avoid the traffic. And while he's driving, Quinn is a terrible driver. He's messing with his CDs, he's looking at the scenery, he's fixing his hair in the mirror, and of course he hits a car. Nothing popped out, nothing caused him to wreck, he's just a shitty driver. So he hits this car, and we find out that it's Jesse, Scott. Jesse is Eliza Dushku, which is the girl in the poster. What happened to her? I mean, I remember around this era of the early 2000s, she was in like everything. Like this movie, Jay and Silent Bob, The New Guy. She was in all types of movies, and now it's like nothing. I mean, I'm sure she's still working, but I can't name anything she's been in like 5 years. But anyway, he hits their car, and it's 2 guys and 3 girls. Jesse, which is Eliza Dushku, Scott, Carly, Evan, Francine. And at first they're pissed off, but they decide they're going to go look for some help, and the Scott guy is really nice about the whole situation. So Scott, Carly, Jesse, and Chris leave. Evan and Francine stay with the cars. They start getting high. Eventually, Evan goes missing. So Francine goes in the woods to try and find Evan. She finds his ear, and then something grabs her with this weird barbed wire choke thing and just pulls her up, and she's dead. So that's 2 characters gone right away. One who died off camera. So that happens a lot in this movie. So let me see where I'm at here. The other group goes to try and find some help for these wrecked vehicles. They see a fire in the woods, but no one's around. They make it to a cabin, and of course no one answers, so they just go right in. Carly apparently says that she needs to pee. And you want to go here? In this dirty ass cabin? I mean, you're in the middle of the woods. You can go anywhere. But she insists on going in this strange cabin. It was ridiculous. But they go in, and of course they find all this weird stuff. Belongings of victims, a bunch of sunglasses. They find a pot of stew cooking. And of course, a refrigerator and a bathtub full of body parts. So now they're freaking out. We gotta go now. And they see the hillbilly cannibal family pull up, towing their wrecked cars. There's no back door, so they have to hide. And the family comes in, they drop the body of Francine down, and after they cut up her body, they decide to take a nap. So the other guys decide this is their chance to escape. They try to make a run for it, and as Quinn looks back, he sees one of the cannibals just staring right back at him. And I really liked that scene. That was great. So they take off running, and they find a field full of cars, all the victims' cars. The cannibals show up. Chris decides that he's going to be a distraction so that the others can make it to the cannibals' truck and then escape. So he runs towards the woods and gets shot in the leg. And then Scott decides he's going to try and be a distraction, so he takes off. And Chris, Carly, and Jesse make it to the truck. They open the door. Evan's body falls out. But they're able to get inside the truck. And we see the cannibals. There's 3 of them. Big cannibal, medium cannibal, and little cannibal. And apparently they have names. 3-finger, sawtooth, and 1 eye. But I'm just going to call them big, medium, and small, because I have no idea which one's which. But they do steal the truck, and while Scott's running, he is almost to the truck, almost to safety. He gets shot with 3 arrows in the back. So he's out. So the rest of them continue driving. They reach a dead end. The truck gets stuck, so they take off on foot. I noticed they left the headlights on. That just drives me insane when that happens in movies. I hate it whenever they leave the headlights on in a car, and I also hate it whenever they leave a bathtub running. That's just something that when I'm watching a movie, no matter what type of movie, it just always drives me nuts when they leave the bathtub on. But anyways, they take off on foot, they dodge a bear trap, and Carly starts laughing. So she's starting to lose it. Go get your boy, 'cause he's bugging. And they come across a watchtower. They find some medical supplies for Chris's leg. But he's a medical student, so he can fix himself up. He's good to go, even though he was shot in the leg. They find a radio, and it's nighttime now. So the cannibals hear the radio go off, and they try to climb the watchtower. And Chris pushes this giant steel cabinet across the little trap door. And for some reason, the cannibal reaches his hand in through the trap door, even though he can't open it. So of course Chris just stomps on his hand. But they see smoke, and they realize that the cannibals have lit the watchtower on fire. They're trying to smoke them out, and the only way they can escape is to jump and try and hit some branches on the way down. And I mean, they are way up in the air here. So they have a long way to go. So they jump out the window, and Jesse's the last one to go, and she jumps out back first. Like, that's a good idea. So she just cracks her back across a branch. But she catches it, she holds on to the thing. But yeah, it was just completely ridiculous. She just jumps out back first. So they're stuck in this tree. And the cannibals are at the bottom trying to chase them. One of them shooting arrows at them the whole time. And the little cannibal climbs up the tree to try and go after him. He ends up catching Carly and cuts her head off with an axe. Jesse gets the little cannibal to follow her, while Chris does the old trick where he pulls the tree branch back and then hits the cannibal with it, and he flies out of the tree. But these cannibals, they're indestructible. I mean, nothing keeps these guys down. So it doesn't matter how far he falls, he survives. So they make it to a cave behind a waterfall, and they sleep for the night. And the next day they find the road, and the cannibals show up. They knock Chris down a hill, and they take Jesse and kidnap her. Chris sees a policeman drive by. He stops him, and the cop says, "Are you the guys who called from the watchtower last night?" And he says, "Yeah, but before the policeman can do anything, he gets shot through the eye with an arrow." So he's taken out. And the cannibal comes down, and Chris hides in the woods. He takes the cop's body, throws him in the back of the police truck. He gets ready to drive off, and Chris runs back and climbs underneath it and holds on, Sideshow Bob style. And he takes him back to the cabin. So at the cabin, we see Jesse, who's tied up to a bed. And Chris throws some Molotov cocktails through the windows, setting the cabin on fire. And then he just drives the police truck right through the cabin, hitting the medium-sized cannibal. So he gets in a fight with the big cannibal. Jesse ends up shooting him in the neck with an arrow. And then the little one pops back out. And Chris wraps a chain around his neck, and Jesse cuts him with an axe. So as they're going to leave, all three cannibals start to get back up. Like I said earlier, these guys are indestructible. So nothing really keeps them down. So Chris turns around and shoots the gas tank on the back of the police truck and blows up the cabin. They steal the tow truck, and they leave, and they stop back by the creepy gas station. And the guy who works there runs inside thinking it's the cannibals. But Chris gets out of the car, walks up to the map, and just takes it this time, and they drive off. And the last thing we see is another policeman checking the remains of the cabin that exploded, and a burnt cannibal, still not dead, I think it was the little one, pops up and hits him with an axe. And that's how the movie ends. So, not really a bad movie. It's good the first time you watch it, but after that, it's just, I don't know, over time, it's really nothing you want to keep going back to watch over and over again. But yeah, if you've never seen it, I definitely recommend checking it out. So I'm looking forward to the next one, because I did enjoy that one a lot. And I'm looking forward to 3, 4, and 5, because I haven't seen those, and I'm interested to see what exactly they ended up doing with this franchise. So yeah, that's my review of Wrong Turn. Hope you guys like this video. Leave your thoughts on this movie in the comments below, and I'll be back next week with Wrong Turn 2. So thanks for watching. Bye. But something else I was thinking about, Jeepers Creepers doesn't really go with the whole Wrong Turn theme. So what I want to do is I want to do Wrong Turn and Jeepers Creepers, but I was thinking what really goes with Wrong Turn is The Hills Have Eyes. And this just came to me today. It was so... Alright guys, welcome back to another Horror Room movie review, and today is the start of a brand new series, and as you can see, it is the Wrong Turn series. This poster was a pain in the ass to get up, by the way. I really hope it doesn't come down while I'm making this video, but I decided I wanted to do these movies next because I had a lot of requests. So obvious, I have no idea why I didn't think about this earlier, but The Hills Have Eyes would be a great movie to follow this one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the Hills Have Eyes poster and put it next to this one. And then I'm going to continue doing these, Jeepers Creepers, and then The Hills Have Eyes. But yeah, it kind of goes with I watched the first three. I can't really remember the third one, but I did enjoy the first two. And when I was looking this up, I was surprised to find out there was 5 of them. I didn't even know they were still making these movies, but apparently the 5th one just came out. So yeah, Wrong Turn's been going for a while, I guess. I'll do this series. And I also had a lot of requests to do Jeepers Creepers. So I plan to do these movies and then Jeepers Creepers. Jeepers Creepers is like 2 movies, I think, so I've never seen those movies either. But Wrong Turn I have watched. I think